rest on our laurels, you know? Mm. Welcome, everyone. We are live today. When was the last time you dot, dot, dot? When was the last time you took charge of your life? When was the last time you sat there for a moment and said, whoa, wait a minute. There's more to me. I have more value than I've been led to believe. See, sometimes we want to spend our time looking for the ones who misled us. In due time, they'll be found in due time. You can't spend your time looking for them. You have to spend your time developing you so that when you encounter, and here's the best part. When you find yourself in a situation, of course, it's not by surprise or not by chance. Our first response is to be, polarity. That's what we do. We go to polarity right away. But do you know how you get to do that? By practicing it every single day. Practicing it every single day. Do you know how many lectures Neville Goddard did just telling people they have God within? He's not some far off thing out there. God, God. That's not where he is. God is within, not near, because that would imply there's a space. There is no space. Not within you. Do you see? There's no space between you and God, because that would mean God could be far away. If then God could be near. No, you are, but not in the sense that you pound your chest, you say, oh, I am God, you bow to me. No, you recognize that there is more to you. There is more value. There's something of great importance. You know, when you go to a mine and there's gold in it or diamonds in it, or oil, and how they treat that land, that it has the greatest value. Mind you, we won't talk about what else they do to it, but I digress. When was the last time you took stock of your value? And you see, not value as in how insurance tells you that you're valuable. Oh, that's man's way of putting value upon you. But what is I am's way? What is that? When was the last time you took stock of that? When was the last time that you allowed yourself to act and to live from that knowing? When was the last time? But if I ask you when the last time was that we thought about what we're going to accomplish and how much money we needed, we would be able to answer that question right away like that. It is more important to take stock of your value and to live from there. So many people are afraid of what is inside of them. Granted, you should be. You should be. Not afraid as in the sense of, oh my God, I'm so scared. No. You should be afraid to let what is within you go to waste. That should be the most repugnant thing to you. Disgusting. Here you are with more talent, more skill. And what are we doing? Sitting on it. That's what we're doing, because we can't figure out how to get it out of us. You don't have to figure out how to get it out. By way of the law of gender, the image, when you have that thought of it, it is projected outward. You don't have to figure it out. You have to know what it is, because when you know what it is, then you have embodied it. What? Yes, you've put your essence into it, and you said, this is who I am. I am that. I am. That's what you've done. That's where you start, by knowing what it is you want to become. See it, feel it, because it is going to make you feel some kind of way. That's the law of correspondence. You can't not feel it. You have a body. That's what the body's there for, to tell you what you've got going on inside. It makes the invisible visible. So today, name it. When was the last time you were honest with yourself and said, look, this is what I want, but I'm a little bit scared. It's okay to be honest with yourself. Because when you're honest with yourself, well, that's when you've employed polarity. Remember, the pendulum swings from where you are to where you're going. So when you see where you are and you are displeased, and you say that is not an expression of who I truly am, well, then what would be? What's that? Then you begin, and you will have the feeling, you say, as in Patti LaBelle, I got a new attitude. You start there. You don't have to fret and worry about how. You already know how, by way of law. It can't happen any other way. It always happens. Life always happens by way of law. It is up to you and I to know the law. The ignorance of the law, or the no-science of the law, will, it's not an excuse. Well, I didn't know. Well, what do you do with things you don't know? We learn them. Mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. Correspondence, as above, so below. Vibration, everything moves. Polarity, you got a left and a right. You got two sides, left and right. That is the only thing that makes what is in the middle opposite. Just the position. But the thing on the left and the thing on the right are exactly the same in their nature. Love and hate are the same in their nature. What is their nature? Emotion. Strong emotion. But they're the same. You can move yourself from hatred to strong dislike, or strong like, and then you can move yourself from hate to love. Fear and courage, same thing. In order to get from fear to courage, you have to move by doing a bold thing. And the way you move from where you are to where you're going will always create a rhythm. Where is rhythm in nature? We have the ebb and the flow. Allegedly, we are in a new moon. See, that's an ebb and a flow. You can count when the new moon begins and when it ends, so that it can start again. That is rhythm. We call it a circadian rhythm for sleep. But the rhythm that you set down by way of your actions will cause you to do something. Cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. And it will cause you to do what? Project what it is that you are out into the world. That is masculine. To project your image out into the world is masculine. What accepts it? What accepts that image? The thing we cannot see. The great womb. And it comes back. as an experience. Feminine. Those are the principles that govern creation. It is how creation happened. It is how creation is happening. So when was the last time that you looked at your life and did not complain? Why would you not want to complain? I will tell you this every day till we get it and we master ourselves. We don't complain because when you complain, see that energy, the vibration, the movement of the thing, the complaining, it is powered by that pure raw energy, the vibration, and the force by which you project it out. How often do you complain? With what kind of passion do you complain? That is going to tell you the speed that you project outward. And when you project it outward, it has to come back. So the more we complain, the more we get to complain. So instead of complaining, take stock of the situation. Assess the situation. Is it worthy of the greatness that you say you are? I know some people say, but Angela, wouldn't that be conceited? Wouldn't that be like arrogant? Really? Do you walk around with a big stick and beat somebody because this is who I am and you will bow to me? No. That quote unquote arrogance that you have is what gets you. It is fire. It gets you out of bed in the morning and fuels your purpose to move. So you cannot downplay it. Oh, little old me, I can't shine too bright now. What do you mean you can't shine too bright? What is the nature of fire? It surely isn't dull. That's why you take stock. That's why you take the time to do it. Breathe. We had a little bit of a storm earlier this morning. So, internet's a little sketchy. But what needs to be said will be said without any issue. When was the last time that you sat there and took stock of your value? I don't know what my purpose is. Sit there. Hello, Spirit. What say you? What skills have I acquired along the way that we can use? What would you like me to express? What would you like this body to express? Because remember, without the spirit, the body cannot be. But who is the spirit? It is nameless and formless, but it's inside your body. And today or yesterday should have been the last time you ever took it for granted. It's the last time you take that power within you for granted. It is the last time that you take the power within you for granted. Stop belittling it. Stop downplaying it. Stop fretting about, oh, but this person's better than me. You know why they're better? Because they out there doing, and you sitting there looking at them saying they better. How does someone become better in their actions? Well, they do them, they practice. So if you're going to watch somebody practice and complain that they're better, well, that sounds like a you problem. You cannot look at somebody and neglect looking at your own self. That is what I'm trying to tell you this morning. Whatever is within you, spirit, it is fire. It is hot. It gets you riled up to do something. What is that something? Speak to yourself. Sooner or later, you will discover that it takes too much energy to pick up the phone to call or text somebody. Hey, can you help me out? What do I do with this? Sooner or later, you will discover that that's an ill use of your time. But the more you practice turning your eyes from the outside world and turning your senses within you to hear, to feel, to comprehend your spirit and what it is saying, that's when you will notice, oh my word, oh, there is more to me, more than meets the eye. That is what it is. When was the last time you did that? Do you not know what's there? You see what we say all the time? Oh, there was a great forgetting. Well, if one can forget, one can also remember. So instead of saying, oh, I forgot, try a new sentence. Oh, remind me. Remind me. Remind me of who I am. Your true self. Because when you know the true self, you will stop walking with your head down. You'll stop allowing yourself to be pushed around. Because you'll put up a boundary. You'll draw that line in the sand. Nope. Unacceptable. And then you will show what is acceptable. But the only way to know what is acceptable is to know the self and what is acceptable to the self. I told somebody the other day because they mentioned that they have a dark side. And I was like, well, a shadow is never cast without the presence of light, is it? So you have to come out of the darkness. How do you come out of it? By allowing the light that you are. Stop trying to hide it. What does scripture say? Where do you put a lamp? Surely not under a bush. It has no purpose or use under that bush. But you put it on the mountain. Allegedly, nothing travels faster than light. I'm no scientist. But I can tell you the formless and the shapeless moves faster, for sure. It is polarity. The faster a thing moves, the less form it has. It's not matter. Let's take a moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space this morning. Hello, Geck, darling. I see you. Thank you for being here on Twitter. The replay gang, they will follow afterwards. Who's here on Fanbase? Sola, Flo Smiles, Matthias, and Miss McQueen. I see you all, y'alls. It is good to see you on this lovely Thursday. If there's anybody else here I can't see, I can only see who I called. Facebook, we got Indy. Who's on YouTube? Now I need to either pull the phone back or lower my glasses. Oh, Jeff, you're over here. You're over here. Oh, and you're over there. You are like Flo Smiles today. Omnipresent. You're present everywhere. Good morning, the better man. A not. Hello, David. Miss Marjorie. Sugar visions. She says, now when something is going on that I don't like, I tell myself, this ain't what you want. Hey. And then you promptly show it what you do want. Goddess Pure Diamond. Cyber. And for the others in the replay gang, I see you. Indeed, Jeff. We are everywhere, are we not? But when was the last time? When? See, we want to call it all these fancy names: self care, self love. Stop it. Those are human things. What does the Spirit say? You know, in the scripture, who do you say I am? When was the last time you just spent any time to listen? Ain't nobody got time for that, Angela. These bills ain't gonna pay themselves. I got work to I got work to do. You got work to do. That's what they say. I got work to do. But the greatest work you will ever do is to come to the knowing of who and what you are. That is the greatest work. That is the only work. Why do you think you're so distracted? Shh. You're so focused in the direction of everything else but that. Hmm? Why do you think that is so important? That we have our eyes cast outward every single day, all day. When in actuality, the power comes from within. The power comes from within. We have to come to terms with that. We have to come to terms with that. That the power it's in there. There's only one thing that remains. If we were in the presence, scientifically, of antimatter, humanity would be in a world of hurt. Because the form would, putting it nicely, disappear. But there's only one thing that would remain: the shapeless and formless you. That is what would remain. So what does that tell you? That is the thing with the greatest value. So that is what you spend the time developing. Remember, it doesn't need a body. It is. It can embody anything. It can take the shape of anything. Sounds like water to me. It can take on the shape of anything you put it in. Bruce Lee famously said, well, be like water, my friend. Be like water. He was on to something. Formless, shapeless. Puts a lot of things in perspective. So don't waste any more time. You want to stop worrying? Well, then start calling those things that are not as though they were. And watch them become. And they'll be like, oh my God, it really works. It would have to. It is law. But if we cower in the corner and doubt and mistrust who and what it is we are, that will also unfold by way of law. Another fancy word: self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what that phrase is telling you. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It means you're using the law against yourself, not for your greatest good. To apply the law is simply the beginning. It would have to be. Look at what the law does. Takes the formless and gives it form. So if you can give it form, you can remove form. Meaning what? Any undesirable. This is why Neville Goddard gives you the word revision. You're taking the old that is no longer of use, and you are transmuting it. You're taking its old shape and reshaping it into something else. Transmutation, aka revision. No energy is lost or goes to waste. Is it directed where you want to be, in the polarized direction, or are you still doing more of the same? How do I do it, Angela? How do I do it? Step one, where are you now and what are you doing? Because without knowing that, how will you be able to call the thing that is unseen? How will you be able to get it into your mind so you can impress it upon the subconscious mind? It has to be in your conscious mind first, which means you've got to be aware of it. So that means you have to be aware of what it is you're dealing with now. Honesty with self is critical. You're just being honest. You're not judging. You're just being honest. You know what? This is not good enough for me. Well, then what is? What's that? Name that. But then your body will do something because that's the way it is. It is law. As above, so below. So if the image in your mind causes you to clutch your pearls and go, that's not possible. Well, I don't believe that can happen. That is what you will recreate because that is the image you hold. So how do you get the new image and sustain it? You ask yourself, what would it be like if I had what I wanted? What would it be like? And then you embody that state as per Neville Goddard's words. You give it life then. You say, haha, here's where I want to be. And then you say, here's where I want to be. It has an image. And now, because the old feeling in the body was not what you wanted. I know some people disagree with this and say, well, Neville said you don't have to lift a finger to make it happen. No, you don't have to lift a finger to make anything happen because things will unfold by way of law. They always will. But the image and the feeling catch the mood. What do you think that means when Neville says catch the mood? What does it feel like in your body? Now that's the attitude and that's the state you walk around in. When Patti LaBelle said, I got a new dress and a new hat, putting on the new dress and the new hat, even if she was buck naked in the mirror, as long as she put on the dress and the hat, in her mind's eye, her attitude had to change. So her state changed based upon the image. Now, when you fall asleep, you now know that the thing you wanted has been embodied. You gave it life. So it is. You're not waiting for it. It is. You gave it life, so how can it not be? So that's what you give thanks for. You say, it is done. How do you know it is done? Because you formulated the image. You gave it form. You gave it form. But I don't see the form. Do you not? Is it not within? And what does the law say? As within, so without. So do you have to fret? Do you have to wonder if? Nah. You start living it now. You embody the attitude. Because now you are in correspondence. You looked at it and you said, ooh, this is the thing. And what would it be like if? What would it be like? Well, what would you behave like? What would you speak like? How would you walk? Oh, come now. When was the last time you did that and followed through with it and just did it? You don't get to 3 months and go, oh, my baby's not coming. You know, it's been 3 months and my baby's not here yet. Well, you got another 7 to go. I didn't calculate wrong. 40 weeks. When was the last time that you persisted? You think persistence is forcing ourselves to do something? Since when does the law say force it? The law don't say nothing about forcing anything. Persistence is not force. Persistence means you are remaining polarized in the direction that you say, well, this is where I'm going. I'm headed east. Because that is your destination. That is the end. East. So you persist in heading east. But you can't say, oh, are we there yet? Did you not say you were headed east? Have you reached east, or are you just headed there? Well, you keep heading there until you reach east. That is what persistence is. Persistence does not mean you force. What does the law of rhythm tell you? The harder you push, the harder the push back, because rhythm compensates. That's why you don't force. You take your time and you get it done. Keep heading in. And how do you keep heading in the direction you say you want to head in? By moving, by doing the thing. It's not going to change. But what will change is your remembering of your greatness. Oh, here we go, Angela. Oh, so I'm great now. Mm, indeed you are. Never belittle that ever again. Think about it. The body, perfectly imperfect. That's for another day. But the body is guided and moved and animated by your spirit. Not to be confused with the soul. That is another day. But your spirit is doing the work. It's not just moving your body. It sees, it understands. Mm? Do you know what kind of work that is? And yet we want to think that, well, I'm only worth this much. And what do? We drink. We drown ourselves in sorrow when the spirit inside of you is saying, Heifer, get up. You are so valuable. Sorry. You know a girl can be dramatic. It doesn't want to be wasted. It must be used to its maximum potential. And we don't even know what that is, because when was the last time we tried to tap into it to find out our potential? That's why I tell you, you don't just sit there and boo-hoo about it. Because Sheila might got more than you, or George might have more than you. It is irrelevant what's going on the outside and whose opinion is there. I will tell it to you till you know it for yourself. Because you know what? If you realize something, you know what makes us move? Frustration. When you are tired of being tired, when you are mad enough, you'll move. What does that tell you? That your spirit got fired up. So what is the nature of fire? It is hot and it moves. That is what is required, not force. We don't always have to get all fired up and worked up, but it is the nature of spirit. So it is to be expected. You can't expect it to move like water. That's not, it's nature is fire. Just hot. That's why when people say, I was fed up, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, that took fire to move. But when was the last time you stopped and took stock of what was within you? That's what that's what I'm saying to you. When was the last time you did that? But we're just satisfied to go along with the mundane. Well, Angela, it's the mundane that pays the bills. I can't argue with that. I can't. But what would it be like if you sat there and said to your spirit, hello, what more am I capable of? I wonder what would happen. Oh, so you did it for 20 minutes? You did it for 3 minutes? Oh, you did it for one day and you didn't hear anything back, so you stopped. It is your lifestyle, because it is only ever going to be the spirit that animates that body and moves it. So it is in your best interest to know who and what you are, so that you can get the most out of your body, thereby getting the most out of life. Because if you look around, you'll see that we do love to be entertained, don't we? What do you think? And people say, oh my God, I think we're like totally getting dumber every single day. Why is that? Because we're not sharpening our minds. We're dulling them. Oh, but Angela, I'm so bored. There's nothing to do. You don't wait for something to do. You create that which you want to do. But I don't know what I want to do. And there is the crux of the problem. We don't know ourselves. So what are you going to do? That's how you do it. So if you say, I don't know myself, well, now you know where you are. What would you like to do? You want to know yourself? What would it be like if you knew yourself? What do you think you'd behave like? Well, maybe I'd have boundaries, Angela. I don't know. I'd be more confident. I'd be more bold. Ah. And now all of a sudden you're inspired to meditate? Oh, but you see how naturally it just flows from you? Whether you walk, but any way that you still the outside, that is what you're doing, right? That's what you're doing. You're stilling the outside, which means turn off something. Turn off the radio. Turn off the TV, if you got one. Put down the phone. And you close your eyes. And you breathe. And then all of a sudden, oh, look, you're learning about yourself. Because you're curious. You should be curious. Why do you think the scripture always tells us to be like children? Children are curious. They want to know things. That's why they do what they do, because they're learning themselves. And that's when we say, as mothers, oh my God, this child pushing its boundaries today. Nah, it's trying to figure out how far it can go, because it's trying to know itself. It's trying to know itself. So it's practicing by doing things. So when was the last time you did that? Right? Well, yes, cyber, the harder the push, the harder the push back. It is the law of rhythm. Or as my KYBALION And I'll read you the exact phrase. I was like, I could put my hands right in the KYBALION this morning. The principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. So if you push hard one way, the push back has to match it. Well, as within, so without. So you can't push hard and get a soft push back because you didn't push soft. So whatever comes back, you have to reap what you've sown. So whatever kind of curiosity, the level of your curiosity is going to be the level of your satisfaction. Well, of course it has to be. You'll be satiated. The curiosity, because the thing that you learn from that curiosity, you'll be like, wow, based upon your curiosity. You're just slightly curious. Oh, that was nice. If you're really curious, you'd be clutching pearls. Really? Wow, that was amazing. The level that you go into it with is what you come out as. It is law every time, all the way around. All the way around. We don't spend time fretting and worrying about this person, the trauma, don't. Why not? So long as you acknowledge where you are, then you say, look, I am here right now and I'm going through these things and I'm acting in this particular way. But you know what? I would prefer to be over here and doing these things. How does that make you feel to know that you've just done it? The moment you recognize where you are and you decided where you want to be, you just projected your salvation outward. It has to take shape. But that's why if you sit and you try and figure it out and complain and fret, you're magnifying more of what's there because your attention is squarely upon it. Every single time. It is law. It's the law. So what are we going to do today? Well, when was the last time you took some time to just sit there? Oh, but Angela, if I sit there, I feel so lazy, like I'm not doing anything. And that is only because we've been conditioned to believe that if you rest, you're somehow lazy. Think about that. How many people feel guilty to just sit there and breathe? You know, a lot of people feel guilty doing that. But how does one see the reflection in the puddle unless you stop moving? That's what I'm going to tell you this morning. That's all I'm going to tell you. When was the last time you got curious about what you were capable of? You see, here's the thing with a man like David Goggins. You don't know who he is? Well, Google is your friend. David Goggins was an ex-Navy SEAL. Now, he said, let me see if I can paraphrase, he was a couple 100 pounds, 300, and he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. And the guy was like, the commanding officer was like, do you see how big you are? Navy SEAL? More like a sea lion, like, you know what I'm saying? David Goggins was like, all right, I hear you. But you see, such was his life that it wasn't easy for him in his life. All of that anger and rage and stuff he had on the inside, He transmuted it into doing what? Molding and shaping and sculpting his body. And he became the best Navy SEAL. Now that's what you call an epic mic drop. You may not want to be like David Goggins in form, but in mentality, that's the difference. He refused to believe that he was less. He just refused it. He said, "Who you think you're talking to?" That was his attitude. He might not have said it. He may have. I wasn't there. But based upon the evidence of his life, based upon the evidence of how his life turned out, he blatantly said, "Who you think you talking to? You can't tell me who I am and am not." And he was like, "I'm going to show you who I am." But the thing is, in order for him to show someone who he was, he had to see it first. And now this man taped up his feet that were broken and ran. Oh, God. And he did not stop running until he got over the finish line. Because his story was, when they were in training, you would hear you have to go this many miles and there'd be a countdown, right? And you'd start to see where you were approaching, and people would only go as far as where they were approaching. But what the drill sergeant would do would move the goalpost. He would move it and extend it a little further. So then they couldn't go, the other Navy SEALs couldn't go beyond that, because they were just in anticipation of finishing. They were in anticipation of finishing. He says, "No, I finished when I crossed it." So that's why he could always go further. He persisted. He kept going. He kept being polarized in the direction of where he said he was going. And he didn't stop until he touched it. He crossed it and he said, now I'm done. That is a different kind of mental fortitude. And we all have the capacity to do it. Every single one of us. Like when I told you that there's a fire required, I wasn't joking. You think about that. You know what it is to put duct tape on broken feet and run. My belly hurts just thinking about that. But he did it. And that's why people call him Superman. Nah, he's just maximizing his mental capacity, which is what? His spirit, the thing within. That's what he used to form and shape his body so that he could do anything that he set his mind to. And now he gets up at the crack of dawn. And you know what he says? He looks at his running shoes and he has to talk himself into them. It takes him about a half an hour to talk himself into putting them on. Every day. For however many years this man's been running, he still has to get up and tell himself, okay, we're going to put these shoes on. I know it's cold. I know it's hot. I know it's rainy. We're going to put our shoes on. Come on. We're going to put our shoes on. What do you think was happening there? His spirit was giving his body the command. Come on, we can do this. Yeah, we can do this. Let's put our shoes on. The shapeless, formless David was commanding his body, not by force. Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get these shoes on. Let's go. That's what he did. That's what he is doing. But it starts off with that simple desire. Who am I? And when you realize who you are, you can't go back. So when was the last time you spent any amount of time getting to know you? What are you capable of? And you have to use the body to know what you're capable of. Wait, what? Yes. Why do you have to use your body to know what you're capable of? Because you're in the body. What else are you going to use? You have to use the form that you're in. The formless you has to shape and mold the formed you. As within, so without. When you begin to see your mental fortitude, you have to be able to see the physical evidence of it. Or else, it's just in your imagination. As within, so without. You have to reap what you've sown. So when you say, I wonder how far I can go. When you start saying that, well, then you've got to move your body and you'll see how far you can go. That's what it is. Anywho, that's what I wanted to tell you this morning. Who's under an hour? I am under an hour. I didn't preach. Yeah, it's good. But that's what I want to leave you with this morning. Be curious about what is within yourself. Don't fret about who like you and who don't like you. Don't fret about your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother. Believe me, glass house. I know. You don't have time. You don't have time for that. Let me whisper this in your ear for you. You know, we talk about attachments. Yeah? Well, whatever you attach yourself to, it better be worthy of you. If it is not worthy of you, it will hold you down. Hold you down? Yeah. It'll weigh down the spirit. That's what it will do. It will weigh down your spirit and prevent you from soaring. Oh, because, yeah, but, yeah. That's why you don't weigh yourself down with the worry or the fretting. Let that nonsense go by doing what? By embracing your curiosity to know you to the fullest. Take the time to do that, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised. But then again, by way of the law of rhythm and causation, they aren't any surprises because every cause has its effect. So it can't be a surprise. And the rhythm tells you, well, you did this then, and it took you this long, so that's how long it will take for you to do it and start again every time. So no surprises. So do what Neville said. It is the law. Know what it is that you want. What would it be like if you had it? What's that make your body feel like? Your body is telling you what you have on the inside, so then you know what to expect on the outside because there aren't any surprises. So that's why your body is telling you whatever it's telling you. It's showing you what's inside so you can know, well, this is what I can predict to be on the outside. So if the body is telling you one thing and you want it to do something else, what do you want it to do? Well, then you should tell it what you want it to do. And when you have to stop telling it, your second nature. Tell it till it remembers, which is it gets into your subconscious mind and you just do it on autopilot. That's what it is. So when was the last time you just were curious and wanted to know more about you? Well, let's get crack-a-lacking at that. So Jeff, my lovely darling, thank you for being here on Twitter today. You know I love you. Yes, I sure do. So if you want, I know Jeff is already here, but Gek, if you want to come over, because I'm going to hit that bowl right here on YouTube. I'm going to hit the bowl for us. So I'll see you soon. Twitter, over on YouTube. I'll see you soon. I love you. Twitter is closed. Fan base, man, I love you guys. She goes here. KZ Victoria. Miss McQueen Flo Smiles. Zola Dying. I miss my Yolanda today. I miss my Summer Rose too. It's all good. I'll see you over on YouTube if you want to come over for the sound of the bowl. Yeah? That's the sound of the man. Get back working. Sorry. Whew. You know how it is. Anyway, I love you, fan base. Thank you for being here and thank you for your love today. It is appreciated. I'll see you over on the tube. If you don't know how to find me on the tube, Positively Angela. It's in the link tree. The little icon for YouTube is in that link tree. Just click it and you'll be right there and you'll see where we are live. All right, y'all. Love you. All right, YouTube. Oh, I have a DM. Wait. Yes. I'm waiting for Zola to come over. It is just a beautiful thing. Right? It really is. That is a little waterfall you can hear there. Hey, Zola, I just saw your DM. I know, right? Let me get the bowl. Y'all. Go over here. And, oh, did I pass it? Nope, not yet. Whoop, there it is.